Do you see this little trade up here? It's short the NQH21. That's the March NASDAQ futures contract. Had a drawdown of some $15, had a run up of 90, and it's currently down, or actually up. It's not minus, it's short. It's up about $35. That's this trade right here. I did not place that trade directly. My hand never touched the mouse, nor did I touch this trade, or this trade, or this trade. None of them today. The computer placed all of these trades. Before I show you just what it did entirely on its own, let me introduce myself. I'm Bagadon at StockMarketCaddy.com. Today is Tuesday at 7:24, December 15th. By the way, last week we entered into, I believe it's either the second or third, it's at least our second CME challenge, futures challenge, involving some 1,600 other futures traders. When it was all said and done, we finished 8th. Going into the last day, actually at 5 a.m. on Friday, with the contest to finish at 1 p.m., we were ranked third. The contest before that involved some 1,400 traders. Going into the last day, we ranked 4th. We finished 20. In the top 0.5% of the contest, or the 99.5% percentile, even higher for last week, and the 99 percentile the contest before. Data matters to us. All of our trading, for the most part, is mechanical, systemized, measured. And if you're not keeping score, I'll just share this with you. We say this to all of our members. If you're not keeping your score and not analyzing your overall performance on a weekly basis, it's pretty hard, if not impossible, to improve. Because how do you know what to work on? But let me show you this particular strategy, and let me show you how we came to run this in fully automated mode and what it is actually doing. Let me show you the strategy. The name of the strategy is called the SM Zinger Trend Short Only. Here it is right here. And the S in the matching side, SMC Zinger Trends Long Only. And these are just some of the inputs. Now, we didn't utilize all of the optionality here, but much of it we did. And there's a lot of optionality. And what we did was to create a file when we optimized, and we used the continuous contract. The continuous contract is what we use for charting and for backtesting. And you may be thinking, and you would be correct to think so, when you optimize more than 2 variables on a backtest, or even 1 variable for that matter, but particularly 2 or more, and the more variables you optimize, you run the risk of doing something that they call a curve fit. That is, whereby the computer goes back some 2 months, creates the inputs and the iterations that would give it the best performance over the last 2 months. But of course, the computer has 20/20 hindsight. Will those inputs, will that performance do anything close to that in the future? That's a very legitimate question. And what we do, enabled by the by TradeStation, is to take the computer file that the backtest creates, save it, and plug it into something called the Walk Forward Optimizer. And let me show you what that looks like for the file we created using this strategy and on the continuous contract of the NQ itself. This is the tool from TradeStation called the Walk Forward Optimizer. The Walk Forward Optimizer basically slices and dices the backtest data in an attempt to simulate randomness. And how it does that is to create these runs of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 runs of what they call out of sample, 10% out of sample, 15% out of sample, 20% out of sample, 25% out of sample, and 30% out of sample. It is trying to simulate randomness before you sit down and commit your time and capital to either following a strategy or running a strategy, whether you run it fully automated, semi-automated, or just use it as a guide. Let me show you just a taste and a glimpse of the kind of data that we can collect and drill down on. First, the optimizer is telling us that this particular run, this one right here, right in the middle, had the most optimum characteristics. And it is this run for the inputs that we optimized that we want to mimic and copy. But what I want to look at here is the annualized performance, the matrix average, which is basically $34,000. And what it's saying is that if you run, or if I run this program, or our members, if they run this program, it is likely to produce $34,000. Now it's possible it may do less, and it's possible it may do more. We are dealing in the realm of probabilities. But we're not done. Let's go to what the Walk Forward Optimizer calls the efficiency. And we look at the matrix average of the efficiency, which is 25%. Here, it is saying that it is quite likely that the program will run at least, or the strategy, at least 25% of the 34,000. Now, it might do more and it might do less, but it is highly likely that we will at least do 25%. That is fair. I'd like to see it at 50% or higher. 50% is good. Anything above 50% is very good, and anything above 80% is excellent. But I know in advance, but we're not done. We can come here to the percent profitable of runs. Of all these runs, 5, 10, and all these out of sample, the overall average, the consistency, the profitability of all these runs, the ability of them to get into the money, the matrix average is close to 58%. It is highly likely to be profitable. Wouldn't you like to know that? I do. We can even drill down here in terms of the reoptimization. When should I re-optimize my inputs again? Because I want to keep a fresh look on the markets, and it tells me every 3 days. Maybe I want to know how many 3-minute bars does it take for my strategy to become profitable. Usually it's not profitable in the first 5 bars, which would be 15 minutes. Here it's profitable. And as time goes on, it becomes even more profitable. But notice, after 41 to 50 3-minute bars, it begins to trail off. Maybe I want to put in a timer right here to stop the strategy from performing. We're not done. Maybe I want to know what days does the strategy perform best. Sundays, not so good on Monday. Tuesday, really good on Wednesday. Metza on Thursday, and not so good on Friday. Maybe I only run this particular strategy on this particular market on this specific time on Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, maybe a little bit on Thursday. We're not done. What about time? Aha! Now I know not only the days of the week that I should run, but what hours of the week should I likely run. This is just a sampling of the kind of data that we can gather. But even then, it is only a probability. And what one needs to do is to measure the overall performance of it running live against that model. And let me show you what this strategy has done in the last couple of days. Since midnight of today, it had 6 trades. 83% were profitable, a profit factor of 5.78, $1,530, and it's working on another winner right now up there. Yesterday, the strategy had made some $1,400 during the day. In the evening, it overtraded and it consumed some of that profit and it dropped to 265. That's where and how it becomes really important to know the trading characteristics of your particular strategy. I'm Bagadon at StockMarketCaddy.com. If you want to get serious about your game, you want to keep track of your trades. You want to keep score. You want to know how many trades you go long, how many trades you go short. You want to know just what you're following. Is it a trend? Is it a counter trend? What is the strategy? What are the indicators that you're using? So that you can, at least maybe not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis, make adjustments. If you're not in the habit of doing that, it's impossible to improve your game. Equally, it's impossible to maximize the strategies and indicators, the many dozens that we have available for you at Stock Market Caddy. If this approach to trading in the markets interests you, and you want to learn how to trade mechanically, algorithmically, and based on data, and also up your game, we would love to compete with you in the CME challenge. Fortunately, we don't need to compete day in and day out. We just need to go in and make our money. My phone number is 813-758-8263. Be sure to visit our website, and you're welcome to call me anytime. Thank you.